Welcome everybody to the second week of the MLG.TV Destiny Bounty. If you guys weren't here last week, we pit the best Destiny clans in the world against each other in some really interesting tasks that we've set up. They are unlike anything you will see in the rest of the game. They're all MLG custom made. And this week you'll notice things are a little different. My co-host Will is actually stuck in the prison of elders still. Unfortunately, he's lost in time over there. But this week I'm actually joined by the awesome Jaeger. Jaeger, how's it going, man?
Good evening, good evening. Doing well, doing well.
So for those who don't know, Jaeger was a competitor last week on our show. He is part of Team Invigorate and is a big Invigorate member, usually competing. But you know what? He decided to join us this week. How you transitioning to the caster role?
I'm liking it. I like the idea of it. Hopefully, we're going to see some good bounties going on tonight. I'm looking forward to the competition. I know last week, man, it was pretty rough, but I'm looking forward to see the gameplay and see how things turn out tonight.
Awesome. Do you think you have a favorite team?
Favorite team? I'm an Invigorate, so
Yeah.
between the A team and the Invigorate team, I'm really curious how things are going to turn out. I see how Dado, he's now in the loop this week.
Yep.
I know Team Resolute, they're pretty good at PvP, so the PvP part of the bounty, it'll be good to see how things turn out. But I know Invigorate, we have a pretty good group going on, so.
Definitely. So actually, if you guys are unfamiliar with the show, we'll bring you up to speed. Let's go through our rules and pricing for everybody. So the rules are pretty simple. Participants must have a fire team of 6, so you can't do this with 2 people. You can't do this with 3 people. You have to do it with a fire team of 6 unless the bounty specifies something else. The second rule is teams must complete bounty steps in order. That's really, really important. So you can't split up and have your team do one of the later steps. You guys have to do it as a group in order. That part is probably the most important. And then first teams to finish all the steps win. So of course, these teams will be competing in a time race against each other, and the first one wins $600. That's a pretty nice prize, Jaeger.
Oh yeah, I really wish we got it last week. That dance party.
The dance party killed them.
It's good money. It's good money. You guys should get involved. Whoever's interested.
Yeah, so actually, if you guys don't know, Jaeger was in the second place team, and they just lost out in the last second bounty. But you know what? Let's actually go through some of those teams. So the first team competing is Invigorate. That's, of course, LT John 5 and X Hawkeye. You can see their streams there. They'll be joined with Knifers, Cool 15, UNC Champ, and Pure Data. They made some roster changes, obviously, because you left the team. But tell me a little bit about these guys.
Well, LT John, Hawkeye, they're part of the original group for getting a world first, both on Vault Glass hard mode and Courtesan normal. So, like you said last week, back to back, those are pretty good achievements to be getting. So, LT John, Hawkeye, strong PvE focus. LT John, I've been playing PvP with him. Recently made a change up to playing as a blade dancer. I'll be pretty interested to see if he actually uses that tonight, because he does pretty well on that. And then you got Knifers, Cool, Pure Data, UNC Champ. Those guys. I know UNC Champ, he's Nation, but he's a pretty strong PvP player. I play with him while I'm playing. Pure Data, he's pretty good. I actually did Prison of Elders, level 35 with him, and man,
Nice.
wrecked that. Knifers and Cool, whenever they play PvP, they're very strong in those areas. So it's pretty balanced how this team is right now, PvE, PvP. Pretty much an all-around good team as far as player skill in both realms.
Awesome. So speaking of PvP, let's bring up our next squad, the 18. This is, of course, our rating champions, our week 1 champions. This is Luminosity, Ewoctopus, God, I love his gamer tag, Scamp, Lucky Charms, Artemis, and Matrix. These guys are heavily PvP focused. They are also part of Invigorate, but just sort of the competitive PvP team. So I'm sure you're familiar with all these guys too.
Oh yeah, I am.
So,
Lumi,
sorry, go ahead.
amazing. No, I mean, Lumi, he's amazing. He's really been stepping it up in PvP. He's streaming that up every night.
Mm-hmm.
He stepped that up really well. Probably one of our strongest players, along with Scamp. Lucky is actually part of the world first team as well, and he's very strong. Matrix as well, and Ewok, me and him go way back since the alpha and beta days before Invigorate was formed. So,
Awesome.
Artemis, he joined a little bit later, but also really round team going on, so it's gonna be
Definitely
great.
another powerhouse team. Like I
Oh
said,
yeah, powerhouse.
they're our
Two
favorites.
powerhouses.
But let's
Yeah.
move on to some of the lesser known teams. Maybe let's hop on board with Sovereign Esports now. That is of course, led by Dirty Moose, who runs the Destiny in-depth Twitter. Actually, so this team should bring
Oh, that's
a
cool.
lot of knowledge to the game, or at least hopefully they do. But they shouldn't be classified as a PvP team or a PvE team specifically. I think they just got a good mix of everybody here. Our
Uh,
next team is Resolute, actually. And Resolute is another big PvP team. So this is, you see teams sort of going maybe heavily PvE or heavily PvP, some of the mix of both. I think that'll be really interesting to see what happens with all of that. But as you can see, this is the Clawman, the Manigator, KJ Hovey, a pup named Rusty, or a pup named Rusty, excuse me, Boomslang, and Ian Rang, looking for big things from these guys for this week's bounty. Let's hop on board now with Doom. Let's take a look at their roster. You guys might recognize them as a strictly business roster. They had a little bit of a team swap. Hayes is no longer competing, so MLG6 is now heading up the crew.
that's
This is
good.
Doom now. Hollow, Hocus, Clues, Never, Alex, and Sasuke. Yo, that guy Alex, man, he's the best. I heard. I'm just kidding. My name's Alex, so I got a little bit of a bias. But what do you think to see from these guys?
From six,
Are you familiar with him?
I've seen him on MLG TV streaming pretty often. He's playing on the Xbox One, correct?
Yep. He's one. They're
Yeah.
one of our few Xbox One teams, so I think it'll be interesting to see how that, if that differs anything from the PS4 teams.
Right. I was actually watching the rebroadcast last week, and I was actually watching the whole thing. And six, I know they fell a little bit behind in the PvP portion, but hopefully this week they actually get things pretty ironed out. And it looks like if they did actually have a change up, things might actually go more their way this time around. So
Definitely. All right, let's take a look at Cutting Edge Esports. So that's Energy. You can watch him at mlg.tv/Cutting Edge Esports. Nightmare Auo, I think I'm gonna hope that I'm pronouncing that correctly. Hunter, Clout, and Dropsin. We don't know a lot about this team. They did fairly well last week, but looking for them to have a better showing this week. So not much we can say about them. Besides, we'll see. We'll see what they do. But of
we'll see.
course, our last team, the new team into the mix, is of course Math Class. Some of you might recognize the name Math Class. It's led by Dado, actually, who's a huge community member, big streamer, big YouTuber for Destiny, and Bungie, not fanboy, but Bungie child of promise, whatever you might say. And
Oh yeah, he's into it.
so this team is actually really familiar with this sort of format of modifiers for games. They do their own challenges, stuff like that, on their streams. Of course, you can watch Watts' point of view. And actually, I've been to his stream. He has a camera up of Dado as well, so you can see both of them. And of course, Dado, Scutch, Maddie, Bounce, and Tubuku, which I like that last guy. But those are our teams. Let's show you guys this week's bounty. Here it is, and Jaeger has not seen these, so this is the first time he's seeing them as well. Step 1 of our bounty this week. Buy a green primary, secondary, and heavy weapon from the gunsmith and win 3 games of House of Wolves DLC control. I actually just checked in with the gunsmith, and he's not selling green heavy anymore. God, he likes
Oh
he likes to
no.
screw with us. That's okay. Teams know. I've notified the teams that they need
Awesome.
to just use primary and secondary green, and a white actually heavy that the Vanguard is selling.
This would be great. This would be great because it's not bringing in exotic like modifiers or things that help them win the game based on those modifiers, like Red Death that regains health. So this is really good. This will be really truly gun skill competition for the first thing you got going on here. For this is a good step. I like this one.
Definitely. So step 2, beat the level 28 Prison of Elders without using any ascended weapons. Of course, you guys know Prison of Elders just launched. This is House of Wolves week if you guys have been living under a rock. And ascending weapons is basically bringing them up to the max stat value. So in this, we are telling teams to complete the Prison of Elders, the basic Prison of Elders, just without bringing up any of their weapons to the max values.
That's
So
awesome.
a lot of people are using Galahorn 365, stuff like that. Nope, can't use it this time. You've already ascended it. So
Oh, Galahorn.
no,
Oh
we'll see how,
no.
unless you haven't ascended it, right? So maybe
Right,
it
exactly.
paid off, but who would have done that? Anyway, step 3. Each member of your fire team must land a triple backflip on their sparrow.
Oh my, what?
So this is gonna. So what's gonna happen here is teams will have
What?
to do this in front of their team captain's point of view, in front of the team streamer point of view, so we can verify it. But everyone should have the DLC Sparrow by now, the flaming one that lets you do awesome tricks on it. So each member's got to land, including the fire team leader, a triple backflip.
So awesome.
Yep.
That's funny.
Step 4 is win a House of Wolves DLC control game without controlling any zones. And you guys might be wondering, how the heck are they going to do that? Well, zone neutralizing is allowed. So if another team grabs a zone, you can quickly neutralize it and then continue slaying. That one's going to be harder than I think people imagine. So
Oh yeah.
I think teams are going to go all out on that one. Step 5, team captain must open 5 either chests. You might think
What?
that's a little farmy. I think we're gonna see some interesting strategies behind this one. I think we're gonna see teams splitting up and just basically inviting the captain around to different planets to win at spawning. So that's gonna be awesome. And of course, it's not just picking up a chest. You have to kill enemies and find it and all that stuff.
Oh
So
damn. Yeah.
step 6, the whole fire team must beat Prison of Elders on level 34. 2 teams of 3 must both complete. So it's not just one team of 3. Both of them have to complete Prison of Elders on level 34. Step 7. 3 members of your team must reforge a legendary primary weapon, then win a skirmish match only using their reforged weapon. No supers are allowed. So this is one of the challenges where only 3 of the members are going to be competing, but we decided to show you guys a little mercy. We're not going to make 6 people reforge weapons. We're only going to make 3 of them do it. So they got to decide, okay, who's the best PvP players in our group, and who has the least to lose, essentially, by reforging their weapon. So it's interesting to see if they'll have one leveled up that they're going to reforge, or if they have to buy one. I don't know. We'll see. And of course, no supers allowed. It's also going to throw some, wrenches in all their plans. So step 8, beat the Shadow Thief strike in less than 12 minutes. 2 teams of 3 must both complete. What do you think about that one, Jaeger?
The Shadow Thief strike in less than 12 minutes. 2 teams of 3. I mean, I feel like that shouldn't be an issue. I mean, if they can just go on any difficulty, but I mean, I feel like it won't be too much of an issue. But I mean, some people sometimes get hung up on simple parts, so we'll see how it goes.
It is the brand new strike. If you guys are unaware, I think it'll be interesting to see if people go for the Nightfall, because possibly you could do it quicker with the Arc Burn.
That's very true, actually. That's a good point.
So
yeah.
maybe teams will do that, but that's also a huge risk. It is the Nightfall. I think it's all comes down to how comfortable they are with the new strike. If not, I think we'll probably just see them trying to speed run as fast as possible the base strike. And then, of course, our last bounty for the competition this week is get all 6 fire team members on top of the gunsmith awning at the same time. That one is going to throw some salt into the mix, I'm sure, guys.
Man.
We always love to have some fun with you, so I think you guys are gonna enjoy watching that. Everybody climb up the tree in the tower and just bumping into each other, clamoring to get on top of that gunsmith awning. It's a lot harder than it looks. I've tried it.
Oh yeah, people may not realize how difficult some of the basic things. Like last week, that dance party, 6 players within the fire team, and then 3 more in the tower to get them to dance. People would think that'd be easy, but it's not.
It's not. It's some of that stuff that's the hardest one.
So we'll see. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Awesome. So now that we've taken a look at our bounties, guys, we're going to throw it to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll be hopping in with our teams to see how they're doing on the first bounty. We'll be right back, guys. Thank you so much.